your best kind of hypothesis or guess together of like what is the need that you're addressing, how you're going to address it, and like why it's such a big, like why it's such a great opportunity. And so if you were to pull that together, and by doing that, you would probably do some research online just to get your idea together, and that's just a starting ground. And then the best thing that you should do is just have coffee with people who are experienced in that field. More than anything online or research, that should actually get you to the point of even just developing your idea. But once you get that, it's like have coffee with an investor who invests in that realm. If it's like, you know, in healthcare, get someone who is the best, like an investor in the healthcare, and they see so many things and they know the opportunity, they see all of that, the real-time information, and say, this is an idea that I'm thinking, what do you think about this, da, da, da. And they can actually say, yeah, that's actually a hot thing that people are trying to figure out, or they say, no, that would never work because no one's like, and you only take that advice as like one person's opinion, but it kind of gives you an idea of like, what's interesting or not. My biggest advice too, when you have these informational meetings or coffees, is just like, as you know, it's like just, you always put yourself forward. You're always pitching yourself. You're always pitching, not in a formal way, but you want them to get away from that being like, I liked her, and she had the worst idea, but she's got something. Or, I liked her, she has a great idea, and I liked her. Like, so when you get the email, when you email that person for like a follow-up or whatever, they're like on it and they're gonna reply to you and they're gonna connect you. Or I've gotten so many times where I met with someone for coffee and then like a couple weeks later, I get an email, it's like, hey, you know what? I actually just recently met someone in the baby space. I think you'd be really interested to meet with that person. So they would only do that because if they thought that you were on something and you presented it in a very way that they trust you, you know? So like even if it's like the smallest little, you should never think in your mind, oh, it's only that person from church. Actually, one of my largest angel investors was a friend, like was one of the people in my church group. Like, I had no idea he was an investor. We were in the same group and like, but just through updating, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and this and this. He was like, oh, I'm interested. And I'm like, okay. You know, but I treated that coffee like, I didn't care. I didn't know anything about him. But I treated it like he was the most important person in that hour to me. And he ended up putting in himself like $150,000 as an individual, which is a lot of money for an individual. So like, you know, it's just like everybody isn't, you just never underestimate anything. There's a whole wide range of a type of business that you can have. You can have a business that, again, it's a lifestyle business. You should not get investors because you're probably not going to sell it for it. Like, you know, like if you want to just make a living for yourself, like I want to do a business where I bring in $50,000 and I make a profit off it and I am in control of my own destiny and I love what I do and that's what I want to do, or I make $100,000 and I can grow it, but that's initially my purpose right now. It doesn't make sense to get an investor because they are not going to be happy with that. They are giving you money because they want to get a return. They're giving you $50,000 because they want $500,000 back. Like you have to know that's their goal. Like they're not letting you, like they want, it's an investment for them. So if you don't feel like you're going down that path, it's going to be a very unhappy partnership and pressure that's really unnecessary for that type of business. If you want, so I would really think like where do you want to go? And it can change. Like it could start off as a lifestyle business and then you start seeing it really taking off like, wait a second, I could do this. And I think that point where you're asking is like, when do I get external investors? And when you're like, wait, I can grow this so much bigger with more money and it could really like be a big company. And don't think about size, but it could be something that I could then sell or co-IPO, I mean, that's like a big, you know, thing, or someone can acquire me. But there has to be, if you get investors involved, there has to be some kind of return for them. Does that make sense? Like, and I think that's when so the end goal has to match how you fund your business.
I think she's great. The nice thing about Jessica is she is an example of where Asian American women should be heading and what kind of skill sets that are required, as well as the communication skills, because you know for Asian Americans, communication is key and not enough of Asian Americans put a focus on that. And so just by seeing her and being able to see how she conducts herself and what her business is and the passion that she has for her business, hopefully she can serve as a role model for other Asian American women who are thinking of going into that realm.